we're looking specifically for users, right? So I think if we click on that, oh look, get a single user, user/username. And then we should get some sort of object that looks like that back. Let's see what happens. So instead of just saying fetch, let's actually run fetch. Remember, it's a globally available method. We know that the GitHub API lives at api.github.com. And then the documentation says we just need to give it /users and then a username, right? /users/ oh, and actually I'm going to switch this to backticks because we need to do some string interpolation here. And how do we get the username? Props. Specifically, which object in props? Match. So we can say, remember we're in a full component now, so it's this .props.match.username. Oh, yeah, .params. You're right. So it's saying fetch from this, interpolate in our whatever username is in our params. And then we're going to get that JSON back, right? So we're just going to say we're going to get a response back, right? And we're going to parse that as JSON. So again, built-in method. You don't have to write that or worry about importing it. It's just available. And then we're just going to name it user because we know it's a user object that we're getting back. Let's just console log it. All right. So theoretically, if I put a valid username in here, we see it works, and then you can also see I got Davy's user object back. Fancy, fancy. All right, so real quick, I know I do want to wrap up. I know we're going a little over. Blame Davy. He spent way too much time this morning on random stuff. All right, so initialize our state. Because we want to render some of that stuff we got back as a user, right? So we want to render stuff like probably the login name. We also get things like the avatar URL, so we can actually get the picture. We've got location, number of followers, people they're following. So let's focus on those. Or just user, right? So we're going to make a user object. And we're just going to initialize all those properties that we want to use as blank strings, so it doesn't blow up our markup when we don't have it yet. Because remember, this is asynchronous. We're not going to have that data immediately. We need to initialize all these properties so it doesn't blow up our...
What's the difference between putting state like there and just put it inside?
This is the newest syntax. So we wanted to do it a variety of ways so when you read other people's React code, you're not thrown off by it. The newest way is the property initializers, which is what we've been doing for a lot of our methods too. But yeah, you can just initialize state directly, the state property directly on the component. Followers, following, location, and HTML URL. So link to their web page. And then in our render, instead of this H1, let's just do div with the class of GitHub user. Our source. Actually, first, before we do that, we'll make it a little easier on ourselves. Let's deconstruct. So we don't have to write this.state.user so many times. So we're just going to grab the user object out of this.state. So then we can say user.avatar URL. User.login. Followers is user.followers. Location. And last but not least, we've got the user.html URL, so there's going to be a link to their actual GitHub account. Target. They may know what target equals underscore does. Yeah. So rather than opening in the current window, it's going to open a new tab or window for you. And then we're going to have the text say, link to user.login's profile. Theoretically, so this will load up, initialize our state to all blank strings. Constructor runs, calls fetch user data, gets user data for that particular username, parses it, and then rather than console logging, we need to set the state, right? So after we've parsed it, we now have a user object. We're going to set state to that user. So it's going to overwrite all our blank strings with the stuff from the user. Yeah. Let's see what happens. Whoa. All right. Quick commit on that. I think I just had that, the HTML URL property on the user. Where?
A little to the right.
Oh, yeah, just for the, yeah, just so it puts their username on it. Everybody get some information from GitHub? All right. What's up, Dom? We'll have to look at that in a minute. So, yeah, I know. I definitely want to get you guys out of here. Yes, let me do that. So I will push up the rest of the stuff with the NASA page and everything, and with the styles for this. There's also a couple other things that are fixed as well. So you'll notice if I've looked one up and I do another one, it doesn't change. Because right now we're only running fetch user data in the constructor, right? Not just when we're changing props. So you guys have dealt with that in NoteHerder. So that should be easy to fix, right? You can listen for changes in the props that you're getting and then run that again. That would be cool. But let's talk about homework. So now it's your turn. You can do your own things. So like I said, I'll push up this finished version at least to this level so you can kind of see. you can, so basically what I want you guys to do for homework is add another link or 2 or 3, however many you want. Pick a public API, get some information from it, and render it on a page somehow. So adding a link is easy. We know in app.js, we just need to add another nav link, right? Add another route so it matches a different component that you're going to write. When that component loads, then have it use the fetch method to call an API somewhere and get whatever data you want. And when you get that response back, render it up. I will say last cohort did some really interesting stuff with this. There was one that did like, I forget what the name of that one was. Like you send it like math calculations and it returns the answer to you. There were some weather ones. One about like cryptocurrency prices. I liked that one. That was fun. But yeah, there's lots available. There's some examples on here. I will say, quick disclaimer, I didn't update this yet. The Spotify used to be completely public. It's still public, but you have to get like a secret key. Yeah, so if you're looking for an easier route, don't pick that one. If you want to try to tackle it, go for it. Spotify does have some pretty cool stuff on their API, but maybe avoid that one if you are not 100% comfortable with this.